day in class. Do you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they did not show up for that. And also the way she was talking to them, she was very hard on them. She was berating them, really berating them. You don't belong here. If you don't respect others, you don't. So I think the way she talked to them, and also that's it, just to give some background. So it's not mutual respect. She was very disrespectful to the kids.
And I'm not expert on this issue on education, but I'm going to talk in general terms. In general terms, Muslims, first of all, as we said before, they have to behave as citizens who happens to be Muslims, and therefore they shouldn't allow anybody to treat them as foreigners or people who have a foreign religion or etc. So that's in general. It should be our children in school, they should insist to behave and be treated as mainstream citizen like everybody else, not even as a minority. We don't want to take that route. So that's in general. Now, when it comes to what is covered in class and what is not, again, we need to know our rights. What are our rights? I mean, if the students have the right to attend, or parents have the right to ask the school to exempt their children from attending certain session, then why not? It's a right, then use it. If it is not there, we may have to advocate for that. But we have to play by the rules, meaning that accept one standard. And if you do this to any other group, then you should be ready to accept also that the same thing is done for you. I mean, when the session is about Islam, some people will not show up, and that should be fine. You should not be offended. So we should forget about this idea that we are judges here. Those LGBT people, you like them, you don't like them, they are citizens, they have equal rights. And you may be dealing with them at work. They can be your boss, they can be your subordinate, they can be your colleague. There is nothing you can do about that except to treat them professionally and deal with them because that's the only relationship you have with them. If they are your colleagues at work, and we all have experienced like this, then they are your colleagues. Their religion, their whatever, sexual orientation, their political affiliation, that's none of your business. The relationship is a relationship of colleagues. If they are your students or your subordinate, then that's what it is. We have to treat them fairly. What you have, your emotions, that's something you control. You may not like it, but that's maybe LGBT, can be Buddhist, Hindus, atheist. That's none of your business. So we have to accept this, that this society is structured in a very different way than Muslim societies. Muslim society, these things are mixed up. Politics and work and all the relationships are mixed up, and it is black or white and zero sum. You are with us or against us. Over here, no. Over here, it's everywhere there is structured relationship, and you need to abide by that. And it starts with children in school and goes all the way to workplace, etc. That's so for our children, they have to be educated about this, of course, be made aware. And then the most important thing is for the students and parents to know their rights. And if they ask their rights, then they don't blame others for asking for their rights. It's only one standard. It's not like this idea that we are Muslims, so we are better, or our religion is better than others. Everybody has the same feeling. everybody feel their religion is better. So there is no point to try to impose or to try to behave as if we are the chosen people or we are better than others. This is a free country. That's the name of the game here. People are free. This is probably the most diverse country in the world. You have all religion affiliation, all ethnicity, everybody has the right to organize, has the right to exist, and nobody can take that away. Now, in the public arena, it's your right to advocate, for example, for the protection of family and to take a stand against same-sex marriage. That's the law allows you to do that, and you should do it. That's your beliefs. You believe this is something that is wrong, so you can work against it, like you work against gambling, or you work against the drunk driving, or whatever. So it's a very different society, and we have to accept that. It is free, it is very diverse, it is secular society. Secular not in the negative meaning of the word, like the French secularism, where the government can interfere. Secularism in this country means government has nothing to do with religion, has no business interfering with people conscious. And this version of secularism is good because it allows you the freedom of conscience, freedom to even to do da'wah, freedom to organize for all the religion, and government does not interfere. We have seen the French government interfering in the way Muslims organize themselves in mosques or even select their leaders, and that's not the case here. So bottom line, know your rights, use them, and if you don't like something, advocate against it, work against it, but you need to play by the rules and accept the outcome. Let's say a group of Muslim parents joined hand with other faith groups, parents from other faith groups, and they worked against a law or something that has to do with this LGBT in schools. If you succeed, that's good. If you fail, tough luck. I mean, you have to accept the outcome. Differences in this country are resolved by elections and in the court of public opinion. You make your case. You select the candidate who are more aligned and consistent with your views. You make your case to the public. You educate, and then you accept the outcome. And sometimes we have to be wise not to make a big deal out of issues that are not worth it. Sometimes the issue is minor, and because of our reaction, we make it big. We have to avoid that. We have to try to avoid, if there is something minor, local in one school, and we can even ignore it or neglect it, then let's not turn it into a national issue and make big deal out of it. We have to pick our fights and our battles so that you have limited time, limited energy, limited resources. We want to invest them in priorities. That's what they have in general, short of getting more details and more background. So if the teacher decide and that's in their rights to say that, okay, from now on we're not going to talk about anything, so that we don't have this case of people not attending, then we have to accept that. If she talks about Islam and some people don't show up, we have to accept it, and we should not. If we don't show up when we don't like the topic, then we have to accept when others do not show up. And the teacher has to be fair. If she accepts behavior from one group, she should accept it from everybody. But not because you talked about Islam, thank you, that will put any obligations on anybody. Because when you talked about Islam, if it is the right of student not to attend because they don't like Islam, then when Muslims do not attend, when you talk about LGBT, you have to respect that and accept it. There should be no double standards. It's one standard that applies to all.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Anushi. I think that's a very good point. And I didn't watch the video. I can try to share it on the screen. Now, we have to prepare our children, like you said. I think that's a big part of it, is because these views are being presented in school, we have to prepare them that for basically any backlash from teachers or friends, and for them to be ready to say, you know, I have the right not to attend, so I chose not to. Like everybody else has the right not to basically attend or anything related to Islam. So I think that's part of the job for us as parents to do that. And then I would take it a step further. I don't know where this school is or who this teacher is, but it's very easy to find out what school it is and the teacher's name, and email that teacher and let her know that, hey, you can't berate Muslim students for choosing not to attend. It's their right. And basically inform the principals. It's very easy. I always email the teachers of my children, so I wouldn't mind if someone has that information.
The teacher is being investigated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, by the school.
Yeah, I mean,
Teacher-
I don't
teacher
know
what?
about.
The teacher is being investigated by the school. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
was
if
in Canada.
a major investigation and discipline is necessary. I just think progressive, I guess, discipline is necessary. As to hey, you can, it's their right, so don't push it on them. I wouldn't go as far as disciplining someone, because the reaction will be that she may not talk about Islam or any other group or belief. She'll probably be marginalized. I don't know if an investigation, something formal or discipline is necessary. That's my opinion.
Now, our religion teaches us to seek the easiest way to achieve your goals and minimize the damage. So anytime you can do something, you have more than one way to do it, choose the easiest one. If even this right is not granted to children, just find an excuse for your child not to attend on that day. For example, always consider all your options and go for the easiest way, the one that does not cause a lot of trouble, does not make big deal out of it. So if there is two ways you can achieve this goal, then choose the easier one. And at the end of the day, there are two key points here. One, people should know their right, and when they exercise their right, they should be very confident and strong. Say what's wrong? They just exercise their right. So that's very important, being aware of your rights. So when you exercise them and somebody comes to complain or blame you, you know that that's your right. So this is the key here. The other one is educating your children, because there is no way you can isolate your children from what's going on in the world. The only way is, it's like what you do to the health of your children. You don't isolate them to protect them. You give them shots, and then you allow them to interact with people. Same thing for awareness and education. You should not say, okay, don't read about LGBT, don't attend anything where when they mention LGBT, don't do this. Actually, sometimes this will backfire. Your child maybe will become more curious to learn about this because you are policing. The best thing is education. It's like what you do to your health, to their health. You give them shots and inoculate them against diseases, and then you allow them to interact with people. Same thing here. Educate them about their religion, educate them about these issues. They become aware, strong, confident, then you should not worry about if they are exposed to these phenomena in any form or shape, in a school event or in class or whatever.
It means, Dr. Suhail, we need to let our kids attend these classes, not the other way around. Because if I tell my son, don't attend this class, he will hear about what happened in the class from his classmates. Do you agree with me? He will know.
I mean, we all know that children, especially in a particular age, when they are teenagers, anything that comes from you by the way of instructions, that policing, they become more curious about it because they have that rebellious attitude. So you want them to do something. If you don't know how to do it, how to approach them, a lot of time it backfires. They will do exactly the opposite. And we have seen it time and again in different ways. Parents, when they don't know how to approach their children, they make them do exactly the opposite of what they want them to do. Especially children in this country, they are raised in, the big difference between us and them is we were raised in very oppressive, conservative societies, and everything is suppressed, opinion, feelings, everything is suppressed. And they are raised in free society. So they have a personality very early on, and you have to respect that. They have views, they have opinions. We don't have that. I mean, in our society, especially in our time, the way we were raised, we were not, our personality was in general suppressed. We are not allowed to express our opinion. We were not, etc. So we have to keep that in mind. So best way is to be as natural as possible. If you educate them about this issue, then you should not be afraid if they are in class and this issue is raised. If you educate them about Islam, then you will not be afraid that they will be approached by either radical people or people who have abandoned their religion. That's the best approach. It's not policing and isolating and protecting. The best approach is inoculating. Inoculating with education, they become immune, and so you're not afraid. If somebody is approaching them to abandon their religion, they will not do it, they will not respond. Or somebody approach them to with a very radical views of Islam, you are not afraid. If they attend a session where people are talking about any issue, you're not afraid. Why? Because you have done your homework, you educated them. And how much about okay, you tell them not to attend class. They're gonna watch movies and there is LGBT there in the movies. What are you gonna do? You're gonna prevent them from watching anything. You're gonna prevent them from social media. If you're gonna do that, then you'd better take them to the desert. Even the desert nowadays is connected to the world. So this approach of protection through isolation and policing, very futile. It's really laughable at this time and age. Any parents who are adopting this approach, they're fooling themselves, because there is no way you can still isolate your children anymore. You close your door at home, your children are connected with the whole world. So we should forget about that approach. Maybe before social media, before smart devices, before the internet, before satellite TV, before all of that, maybe this was possible. It's not possible anymore. This issue exists in societies. This phenomena, this group of people exists in societies. Your children, sooner or later, they will be exposed to the issue and they will be exposed to these people. No matter what you do. Even if you do homeschooling, they don't go to school at all. They're going to be exposed one way or another to this issue and to these people. And they're going to be dealing with them at a certain point in time. Best way is education, make them very confident about their religion, and make them having strong personality so that they cannot be intimidated and they cannot be driven in any direction that is not correct. So that should be the best approach. And talking about these issues, let's reduce the amount of taboo. Talking about these issues, because a lot of time we avoid issues and our children will have to find an alternative to educate themselves about it. And that's not good. So it's there, it's the elephant in the room. There is no point in trying to deny it or say, behave as if it does not exist.
May I say, Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Ghannouchi, and everyone. Going through this experience myself and talking to too many people and listening to experts and people with great opinion like you, Dr. Ghannouchi, and other people, I reach an kind of an opinion about that, which is the importance of education. So it's all what I see is it's all about education. What I mean by education is to educate our kids, to have the knowledge about what's going on, and that could be with different ways. If people are comfortable with sending their kids to attend these classes at school because they don't have the ability and capacity to educate themselves and then pass the education to them, or expose their kids to these things with their existence, then they need to send them there and let them get that knowledge. If they feel that they can't do that by themselves, they are able to educate themselves about what's going on, and they can educate their kids and open sources for their kids to know with their presence, with their not control, but with the awareness. They know that their kids are doing that, they can go and do that. But if they leave them, as you said, Dr. Ghannouchi, leave them go to the room, lock the room, and you feel that they are secure. No, they're gonna know that from their friends, from games, sometimes video games, from movies, social media, everywhere, like from the news. So the point, it takes a village to raise a kid. The point is, we need to make our best to educate our kids. Everyone has different way to do it, but our kids need to be educated, need to be aware of what's going on, and that should be kind of talk and in our family meetings, when we talk with them, when I have a walk with my kid. This is what I did. So I had a walk with my kid for 1 hour, and we talked about this after our discussion like a few weeks ago. So I said, okay, the best time is I talk to him, and the best time is when he does something he likes. So we were walking, and then I opened the discussion, and he was excited to talk about that thing. And we talked 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and then we talked the next day I got to know things I didn't know about from him. I was surprised that he knows a lot of things, but then I was open-minded enough to let him talk, and I shared my thoughts. We talked about something in the school, but now when we talk about these things, when we see something on the news, then we can talk again. What do you think? My son's name is Farhan. What do you, Farhan? What do you think about that? Have you heard about that? What's your opinion? So it's more. We're more comfortable now. It doesn't mean we agree or we support, or maybe we don't agree. We agree, but we're comfortable to talk about that. We're comfortable to bring our Islam, let's say, concept to that. We're comfortable to discuss. We're comfortable to take it to the next level. We're comfortable to share stories. So all because of the education. So he is educated now. I'm not saying he's okay, but at least this door is open now between him and me to talk about these things and other things with a lot of information sharing and kind of under the umbrella of education.
What Brother Nidal is mentioning here is critical. This is what every parent should target and should work hard to achieve and maintain, which is open channels of communication, where your child feel comfortable and safe to talk to you about anything, even about their mistakes, whether to you or to their mom, at least one, which is open channels of communication. These are my views. These are my problems. These are my mistakes. As long that you achieve that, every problem can be fixed. The moment your child start concealing from you and not feeling safe or comfortable talking to their parents, that's where alternative doors will open. Then they have to find somebody to talk to and to get some guidance or direction. And that's why it was said that when your child grow up, make him a friend. That's what it means. Becomes dealing with, and a lot of Muslim parents fail in that transition. Their child is a young adult and they're still treating them as a kid. And the communication is not open at all. And the child is wondering, and they have some questions, and they have some problems, and they just find someone. If you are not the one, then they're going to find an alternative. And that's very bad. So what Brother Nidal was mentioning is what every parent should really work hard to achieve and maintain. That your child, there is open channels of communication. You take your child for a walk or to a coffee shop, sit down and talk as a friend. Let them spell it out, whatever challenge they're facing, whatever opinions they have, even if they are not something that you like. It's better that they say it to you so that you can help them with, rather than keeping it. And we, unfortunately, we do the opposite. We prefer that things to slip things under the rug and live in denial until the small problem becomes a crisis. That's what we do in everything in our lives, not even only with our children. Is we deny the problem, we justify it, we patch it, we don't fix it. We don't. Make sure you spread this idea, whether you still have children at any age, or whether your children are getting married, or regardless of where you are and where your children are, make sure you spread this idea that one of the main duties of the parents is to keep channels of communication and make the house a home. Home meaning safe, meaning it's safe to express your opinion, It's safe even to talk about your mistakes. Because what's the point if they hide it from you? What's the point? Yes, you don't see it, but it is there, and it's getting worse. So you'd rather your child come today, say, Dad or Mom, today I did this. Yeah, I know it's bad, but it happened now. What can we do with it? It's much better than concealing it. Yes, concealing it will make you feel better because you don't see it, but that's not going to help. So make sure that you establish and maintain that open channels of communication and treat your child with respect. Because children here, they want to be respected. They have a personality. That's what they learn in schools. This is a free country, and they are raised to have their self-esteem, a high self-esteem. So that approach that being adopted in many Muslim countries, where parents they think that suppressing and humiliating children will make them good. That's not true. That's not here. Here, that if you touch their self-esteem, you lose them. You need to respect them, respect their opinion, respect what they like, etc., and rely on convincing. Don't rely on your power, because if you rely on your power will end when they reach 16 or 18. That's it. You're over. If you're gonna rely on power, like hard power, you're gonna lose it. Rely on convincing. Rely on that relationship of trust so that you are the best friend for your children. I know it's easier said than done, but believe me, if you don't succeed, then you're gonna pay a very heavy price dealing with children who are looking for alternative, looking for others to play the role that you're supposed to play.
And I want to add another thing, in addition to what you said, Dr. Ghannouchi, about the importance of all of these things. One of the most important things that I learned, as I said, is to educate ourselves. So when our kids come to us and say, hey, I have, and they're free enough to, we give them freedom to share with us that, hey, my friend is gay, or my friend has changed his, let's say, gender, or why should I say this and that? Is it our right as people and human to change and select and choose our gender? And then when they come to you and they say, oh, but they are nice, like, why should I not talk? Why should I not talk to them? If parents telling their kids not to talk to their friends who changed their gender, I assume that people would do that sometimes. They would say, why not? He is very nice, or she is very nice to me, and I feel comfortable dealing with them and playing with them. Why should I stop talking to them? Why should I avoid talking to them? So all of these questions are critical from our kids to us. So if we are naive and we have only the basic information, and we depend on what we learn from news, or from talking to people, or from our inherited whatever, that would not help us a lot. That would bring us to this distance in our journey. But the journey is until, as you said, Dr. Ghannouchi, until they are 16, 17, 18, and maybe more. So what is our fuel to continue with this journey? What is our education resources, education education wealth, let's say, in order to help them? So I think we need to educate ourselves. It's our responsibility to go there and try to read more, and listen more, watch more, attend more, educate ourselves. So when our kids come to us with such questions, or we open up the conversation, so we share something that we trust, we beneficial to them, and something that would help them gain more trusted information. So again, educating ourselves, it is a must. It's not optional anymore. Otherwise, leave them to school to teach them. If we are unable to educate ourselves, we don't have time to do it. We don't have the effort, no energy, nothing. So it's not a good process to follow in order to educate your kids, because you have no knowledge to share with them. So they will see you as useless resource to them. So they're going to go anyway. They're going to go to the resource. So if we don't want to do that, we don't want to let our kids get the information from others, our responsibility is to educate ourselves.
Yeah. And again, forget about this policing business. It's I know relying on convincing takes more time and effort, but believe me, that's the only way. Convincing. You can talk to your child clearly that your relationship with people in school, they are just your classmates. And as classmates, you don't care about their whatever beliefs or whatever. And you can tell your child that friendship requires commonalities. So you cannot be friends with someone with whom you differ tremendously. So, but as classmates, you deal with them with mutual respect. Because that's your relationship with them, whether it is your teacher who's a LGBT or colleagues. It's just the relationship is teacher with student or student with student. That's all. So you should not forget about who they are or what they do outside the school. That's your relationship with them. Friendship requires more commonalities. So you want to have a lot of shared ideas and thoughts, etc., for to be true friends. But this idea of don't talk to that person because he or she is 1, 2, 3 is not going to do anything. Especially, as I said, children, when they are teenagers, they have this natural rebellious attitude, which is they don't want to be forced to do something, and they usually try to do the opposite. I'll give you just an example. Now we interview students for pre-medical program. So who comes to pre-medical program? People who graduated with another major, usually social sciences, worked for a couple of years, and then decided to go for medical school. So when I ask them, why it took you so long? A lot of time you hear this answer. Say, my parents did not respect what I was doing and wanted to force me, especially if the parents are physicians, are doctors, they basically made me think that unless I become a physician, I'm nothing, I'm worthless. And that's what made me insist on continuing with the music or philosophy or psychology, whatever major they wanted to do. And then when I settled with myself and then had the option to decide, I find myself more comfortable going for medicine, and that's when I made my decision. So you hear this idea of parents did not respect me and did not respect what I was doing and tried to force me. So my response was backfire. It's going the other way. And I see Muslim parents a lot of time fighting battles that are not worth it. They fight with their child, for example, because of the way the child does haircut. You're not going to win that battle. It's useless. The way their child dress, and they keep telling them when we were young, we didn't do this, but when you were young, It was a different era and it was different culture. So even in that culture, things have changed. Never mind in a very different culture. So that's why I keep asking parents to focus on religion and values and principles, not cultural. The cultural battle, you're not going to win it. Those who are trying to raise their children in this country, but raise them as Egyptian or Pakistani or Palestinian or Saudi or whatever, it's not going to work. It's not good. They're going to be American, you like it or not, and there is nothing wrong with that. Your job is to try to make them American Muslims. Those who try to raise their children, the same way they are. They want their children to be like them and to be like them even when they were children. All of this is losing battles. They never, you'll never win them. So be tolerant, have a great margin, and focus on values, principles, religions, beliefs. That's what you focus on.
Dr. Suhail,
Yes.
why do you think this big corporation advertising for this issue and it's affecting their businesses?
Which issue?
The LGBT, they put it like a target, you know. Coincident, I met the general manager of Target store. He told me their business is down after this issues down 20-30% right away, and still insisting the owners for this big corporation to do that. Why you think?
What happened with Target?
I think they are advertising and LGBT issues on their stickers for the kids. And it's very big clash against their business, but still insisting on it. Giant, a couple days ago, they start doing same thing, you know. And my wife, she decided not to go to buy from Giant anymore. You know, it's affecting their businesses, but still insisting to doing that.
I don't know. I don't know the details of all what I know is that, unfortunately, this a case of success on their part of people who, when they are serious about their issue, it proves that when people are serious about their issue and work hard, they get their way. This was something that is totally rejected in this country in the 60s and 70s. But these people, they organized, they advocated, they lobbied, they worked so hard. And subhanAllah, you remember the statement by Umar ibn Khattab, اللهم إني أعوذ بك من جلد الفاسق وعجز الثقة. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من جلد الفاسق وعجز الثقة. يعني Umar ibn Khattab was complaining from the dedication of the wrongdoers and the laziness of the righteous people or the pious people. So unfortunately, and I use it sometimes as an example that things can change in this country, but not easily. I use the better example, which is the anti-smoking work, which was really great success story. We have seen it in this country. We have seen it. When you go to a restaurant and you ask for, do you have a non-smoking section? And some restaurants will tell you no, and some restaurants will tell you that corner, it's for non-smokers, and the corner is exposed to smoking. But there are people who worked so hard, and they were made fun of, because when they started to work, they told them, you're crazy. You are taking on the big tobacco companies who spend millions and millions of dollars in lobbying. What do you think? But dedication, hard work, persistence, and they were able to change the laws and to change the norms. And now you can see how businesses are bragging that we are smoke-free facility. Airport, you cannot even smoke outside. You have to go very far away. That's the name of the game. That's a good success story. The other one is a success story also, but in a wrong way. But these people, they were able to change the norms, to impose themselves. Nobody can even come close to them, and to change the social norms and the laws. And now they are redefining even families. What the family mean. People only have themselves to blame. This is an open field. The sunnah of tadafa, which is that group of people pushing and shoving one another, I don't think you can see it anywhere in the world better than you see it in this country. It's if you're not there, then you only have yourself to blame. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ لَفَسَدَتِ الْأَرْضِ. That if Allah does not check one group of people by another, then there will be great spread of munkar or mischief, or the world will be spoiled. And then وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضًا بِبَعْضٍ لَهُدِّمَتْ صَوَامِعُ وبيع وصلوات ومساجد يذكر فيها اسم الله كثيرا وَلَيَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرَهُ. So if Allah does not keep in check one group of people by another, even freedom of religion will be lost. That mosques and monasteries and churches will be destroyed, which another way to say that people will not even be free to worship. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assigned Muslims the job and the duty to secure the freedom of conscience for everybody through this verse. وَلَيَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَنْصُرَهُ. Because if you accept injustice against another group, first of all, it is wrong, and second, you will be next. And those of you who have been here when the Bosnia crisis happened, the Jewish community in this country were very, very, very active on that cause, because they knew they have the background and the awareness that if this ethnic cleansing is allowed to go with impunity, then maybe they will be next. So gonna have to be aware of this, that it's an open field. Muslims until now, they still did not make adjustments that it is your duty to be civically engaged, and it is doable, but it's not quick. There are no quick solutions, because until now we still believe that if there is an issue, then we go and do demonstration and issue press release and hold the press conference and approach Congress people or State Department and have meeting, and that's it. Then what are the results? Some of us, they think these are the results. So that's good enough. And some would be disappointed, saying, but we worked on this issue. We did a couple of demonstrations, and we did petition, and we did this, but it did not. No. Those cases that we were talking about took them decades to get to this point. There is no, so it's an open field, it's doable, and you need to be advocating your principles, see what Islam has to say about an issue, take that position, advocate for it, join hands with people you agree with on that particular issue, but you have to have, it's a long term. It's a marathon. It will take years of work. There is nothing in this world that can be achieved with the work of a few days or few weeks. Nothing can be done. Only venting out anger, maybe. But other than that, there is nothing that can be achieved. You just have to be patient You have to do it right. You have to be sophisticated, efficient, and then persistent, day in, day out. And subhanAllah, now we have the greatest success stories. The Prophet ﷺ, when he spent 13 years in Mecca, day in, day out, advocating and propagating his message, and people made fun of him, people harassed him, people rejected him. The books of Sirah say there was 1 year, a whole year, nobody responded positively to the Prophet. And that did not deter him from continuing, taking advantage of every opportunity, taking advantage of the Hajj season, pilgrimage, and go to talk to the tribes, etc. That's how it is. I mean, there is no shortcuts in this. So you tell me why companies, I don't know about why they can accept to some losses, but I'm sure that a lot of what is going on, it's the result of that lobbying that is still continuing. It's like the Zionist lobby. Nobody come close because everybody is afraid about their political career now. The LGBT in this country have similar status. Nobody, or almost everybody, is trying to avoid that because they may lose their position and they may lose the election. Why? Because they're organized, they turn votes, and they work day in, day out. This is not the occasional, convenient, sporadic work, formalities that the Muslim activist and organization they do, which again ends at press release, press conference, meeting with officials, and maybe demonstration. That's all. And it's always temporary. It's always reactionary. When a crisis happens, we are angry, we go, we work a week, 2, 3, and then dies out. It's a long way to
Assalamualaikum,
go.
Dr. Suhail.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I have a question concerning there's some Chinese companies that have been what's the word, like it has been stated that they are abusing human labor. So like what is the role if you buy, say, products from such company? Are we required to boycott them?
I mean, the purchase or buying power, it's a power in the hands of the consumer. They should use it very wisely to promote, like, for example, some people, they go and buy from small stores and small businesses because they have in mind they want to encourage small businesses as opposed to large corporations. So, and also for boycotting. I mean, if I don't like what the company is doing, I don't need community to conduct a campaign or to tell me to boycott. I just choose to boycott because I don't approve of this behavior and I don't want to encourage it. So we're going to have to switch more to individual initiative and not waiting every time for everything has to be like community campaign. So if you come to know, practice by an organization, by a company that is unfair, and you are sure it's documented, you are sure, use your buying power to take a stand or to make a statement. when you stop purchasing from a company, you're making statement. And if you have a chance to tell them why you stopped, that even better. Because if you stop without talking, maybe will not do the job. They may notice a drop in their customers, but it would be even nicer and more efficient if you go to their website or their email and send an email. Say, I used to like your company and your product, etc. But when I came to know 1, 2, 3, I decided to stop. I cannot endorse or sanction this behavior.
Thank you so much. Jazakallah.
If nobody has any question or answer, I think we will see you next Sunday, inshallah, Dr. Suhail.
Inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Salam.
Assalamu alaikum.